Diana Rojas Hohenberger with Love Bar Realty, and today my guest speaker is Jeff Brady, Vice President of Rountree and Brady Insurance Agency. Hi Jeff,
Hey,
good to have you here.
Glad to be with you. Thanks for having me.
Thank you for joining us today. So we're going to start with the most basic question. When it's a good time for a buyer to talk to you about home insurance?
Well, the one thing about home insurance is that pricing can have an impact no matter where you are. And the reality is that depending on where you're purchasing your home, your insurance rates can be very different. The age of the home, the age of the systems in the home will all have an impact on what your premiums will be. You want to get through that process early in the due diligence period because you don't want to get to a point where you're now locked in on a house, and while you may be able to afford the insurance itself, it may be outside of what you're comfortable with. So you want to keep that in mind and hit it up early in the process.
Good deal. Are there any conditions that can prevent a home from being insured? And if so, what are the sort of things should a buyer be on the lookout for?
Sure. Well, there's a number of things that can impact insurability. Obviously, location, it may cut down on the markets that are available. The condition of the house. Insurance companies have gotten very sensitive to roof age and condition because it is such a major expense. We're seeing more challenges in the world when it comes to asbestos and the siding that we see in a lot of our areas here. But for the most part, our newer homes are going to be an easy place for you to be able to get coverage. You're going to get great discounts for having a newer property because it has a new air conditioning system, a new water heater, a new roof, and a new electrical, and all those things are systems that could prevent a claim. The other issue that folks need to be really careful of is their own claims history, because of this, you could be in a position, if you have multiple claims, that could prevent you from being eligible for a lot of the major carriers, and that can also impact not only eligibility but also your pricing.
Perfect, good information. Well, we live in Savannah, and as a flat, low-lying coastal region, we know that there are some areas that can get flooded very easily. They're at a higher risk. So, when do you recommend getting flood insurance?
Well, we always recommend flood insurance. In our area, 35% of flood claims happen in the X flood zone. That's an area where you're not required to carry flood insurance for your mortgage. You have other zones such as an A, AE, or VE zones where you are, and you'll be required if you have a federally backed mortgage. Now, we recommend it anytime. The reality is that if you're purchasing a home, you're actually more likely to suffer a loss by flood than by fire over that 30-year period. And the reality is that flood insurance in those areas where you're not required is very affordable. The average flood claim is nearly $65,000, and to buy maximum coverage for flood in the X preferred zone is only $450 a year. Now, you want to be ahead of the game. If you buy a flood policy thinking that you're going to be covered for a storm, the reality is that it takes 30 days unless you're going to be closing with that and required by your lender. So if a hurricane is coming or we have a major storm system and you look to buy flood insurance, you can purchase it, but it'll be 30 days and you're not going to be covered. Be proactive, not reactive.
Perfect. Now, does my homeowner's insurance cover flood damage? Because I know some people are not clear about that, and that's why I want to ask you this question. There's a little bit of confusion in that.
Great question. The short answer is no. Your homeowner policy is not going to cover rising water. Now, we do get clients that will call up and they say, I've had a flood, but the reality is it may be a busted pipe or a hot water heater that goes out. That is covered under your standard homeowner policy. However, rising water from storm surge or heavy rains is not. And the only way to truly protect yourself is going to be carrying that extra flood policy.
Wonderful information. Thank you for sharing your expertise with us today, and you have a fantastic day. It was awesome to see you.
Thank you.